It's the story nobody saw coming, but everybody is talking about. King Harris, the outspoken son of rap legend T.I., has just been sentenced to 5 years in prison after a shocking arrest that's rocking the entire Harris family to its core. Fans are stunned, the internet is buzzing, and T.I. himself. He's spiraling in a way we've never seen before. What went down inside that courtroom had people gasping, and the aftermath has already turned into one of the most chaotic family dramas hip-hop has ever seen. From fiery arguments between King and his father, to whispered betrayals behind closed doors. This isn't just about a prison sentence, it's about a family completely torn apart. Eyewitnesses claim I nearly lost control the moment the judge read the verdict. While King's defiant smirk sparked outrage both inside and outside the courtroom, Tiny King's mother was left in tears, begging for peace as the cameras rolled. But the damage was already done. The Harris empire is crumbling before our eyes, and the shocking twists are just beginning. So buckle up. Because what happens next will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about. T.I. and his son, the courtroom was packed, tense with an energy that felt almost too heavy to breathe in. Everyone leaned forward, eyes locked on King Harris. The young man who had grown up in the shadow of his father's fame, but was now standing in the harsh spotlight of judgment. The silence broke like glass when the judge finally announced the sentence: 5 years in state prison. Gasps erupted, phones flew into the air recording every second, and whispers shot across the room like wildfire. Fans later said it felt less like a legal decision and more like the climax of a reality TV drama. Only this time, it was painfully real for the Harris family. King's reaction stunned everyone. Instead of breaking down, instead of showing even a flicker of remorse, he smirked, leaned back, and mouthed something under his breath that had the entire courtroom buzzing. Some claimed he said, "I'll be fine, I run this," while others swore he muttered, "I told y'all, I don't care." Either way, the arrogance hit T.I. like a dagger. The proud father who had spent years trying to guide his son, to discipline him in public and private, suddenly looked like he had lost all control. His jaw clenched, his fists tightened. And witnesses swear they thought he was going to leap forward before Tiny grabbed his arm, whispering frantically, "Don't do this. Not here." Tiny herself was a storm of emotions. She wiped tears from her eyes as she watched her baby boy being led away in cuffs. Fans noticed the way she shook her head, almost as if blaming herself, whispering through sobs, "I tried. I really tried." Her voice cracked as if the weight of motherhood and fame had crushed her all at once. She wasn't the strong, composed Tiny the public was used to seeing on red carpets. In that moment, she was just a mother losing her son to a system she couldn't protect him from. But the real explosion came from T.I. The cameras caught his face as he shouted across the courtroom, "This ain't over, King. This ain't how it's supposed to be." His voice boomed so loud it silenced the whispers for a split second. King, being led out by officers, turned his head slightly and replied, "I told you, I'm grown. I told you I make my own choices." That one line, captured on shaky cell phone footage, went viral within minutes. It wasn't just a son talking back to his father. It was rebellion broadcast for millions to dissect. Fans flooded social media, torn between calling King reckless or praising him for standing on his own, even in the worst moment of his life. Outside the courthouse, chaos brewed. Paparazzi swarmed the Harris family, shoving microphones and flashing cameras in their faces. T.I. pushed past them, anger radiating, snapping. "Y'all don't understand what's going on. Y'all think this is entertainment, but this is my family still." Reporters egged him on, asking if he blamed himself, if he thought his parenting had failed, if he regretted putting his family in the public eye. T.I. had no answers, only rage. Tiny, meanwhile, was inconsolable. She clung to her daughter, Zanique, crying into her shoulder while fans shouted words of support from behind police barricades. "Stay strong, Tiny," some yelled while others cruelly taunted. This is what happens when kids grow up spoiled. It was a public spectacle that blurred the line between tragedy and tabloid. and everyone watching felt like they were witnessing the collapse of one of hip-hop's most famous families. Later that evening, footage emerged from inside the Harris home, where tensions boiled over even more. A source close to the family claimed that T.I. and King had been fighting for weeks leading up to the arrest. The source described loud arguments echoing through the halls, with King screaming, "I ain't like you. Stop trying to make me you." And T.I. firing back, "I'm trying to save you before it's too late." Those words painted a chilling picture. A father desperate to control the path of a son who refused to be molded, no matter the cost. The arrest itself had been just as dramatic. King was reportedly pulled over late at night after being spotted speeding in a luxury car with tinted windows. When officers approached, they allegedly found substances in the vehicle that linked him to multiple charges. The story spread like wildfire, fans dissecting every detail and debating whether the charges were exaggerated because of who he was. Some fans argued it was the system targeting the son of a famous rapper, while others insisted King had been spiraling for months and this was bound to happen sooner or later. What no one expected, however, was the footage of T.I. arriving at the police station the night of the arrest. Leaked security video showed him storming through the doors, shouting at officers, demanding to see his son. Witnesses recalled him saying, "This my boy. Y'all don't know who you're dealing with?" A moment that quickly went viral. Fans debated whether this was a father protecting his son or an ego clashing with authority. Either way, the damage was done, and the internet lit up with memes, think pieces, and endless debates about fame, parenting, and accountability. Back inside the Harris household, emotions ran even higher. Tiny reportedly begged T.I. to calm down, telling him, "You can't fight everybody. Tip, we gotta fight smart." But T.I. wasn't hearing it. Sources claim he slammed a fist on the table, shouting, "I gave him everything. I gave him the world. And this is what he does." Those words echoed through the walls, a bitter reminder that money and fame can't shield a family from pain. The younger Harris kids looked on, confused and frightened, their once idolized family unit visibly cracking in front of them. The family drama spilled onto social media almost instantly. King's Instagram account was flooded with both hate and support. Fans leaving comments like "Stay strong, Lil King," and "This what happens when you think you've grown." Meanwhile, T.I.'s account became a war zone, with some praising him as a father doing his best and others accusing him of failing to control his son. Every post, every like, every story became a battlefield, with fans picking sides and fueling the fire. And then came the twist that nobody expected. King's grandmother, T.I.'s mother, decided to speak out. In an emotional live stream, she tearfully defended her grandson, saying, "He's not a bad boy, he just lost. He just needs love." Her words struck a chord with fans, adding another layer to the already tangled family drama. Some praised her for speaking from the heart, while others criticized her for enabling King's behavior. But one thing was clear: this family feud was far from over. And everyone watching knew the worst was still to come. As the night dragged on, whispers of betrayal began to surface. Rumors spread that one of King's closest friends had been the one to tip off authorities about the substances in his car. The idea of betrayal hit fans hard, adding fuel to the already burning fire of speculation. Was King set up? Was this more than just a reckless night out? T.I. himself reportedly confronted King's circle of friends, demanding answers, shouting, "Which one of y'all sold him out?" But nobody spoke up. The silence only deepened the mystery, leaving fans desperate for answers that weren't coming anytime soon. By the time the first full day after the sentencing ended, the Harris family was fractured, their every move being dissected online. Tiny retreated into silence, avoiding the cameras, while T.I. simmered with rage, pacing rooms like a caged animal. King, locked away and awaiting transfer, reportedly bragged to fellow inmates that he'd be fine, that he had money and power backing him. The arrogance shocked even those behind bars, and word of his attitude spread quickly, reaching the outside world through whispers and leaks. But deep down, under the bravado and the tears, the real question lingered. Had King Harris truly lost his way? Or was this the beginning of a bigger story that would tear apart one of hip-hop's most iconic families forever? The morning after the sentencing, the Harris household felt more like a battlefield than a family home. Tension hung heavy in the air, every word spoken sounding sharper than intended. Every. Silence louder than thunder. Tiny barely spoke, retreating to the kitchen where she stared blankly at her phone. Scrolling through thousands of messages from fans, friends, and even strangers. Some offered prayers, some hurled insults, and some simply wanted the inside scoop. Her hands trembled as she read them, but she refused to let anyone see her break again. She whispered softly to herself, "If I fall apart, who's gonna hold this family together?" Meanwhile, T.I. couldn't sit still. He stormed from room to room, pacing like a man trapped in his own house. His anger wasn't just about King, it was about himself, about the years of trying to guide a son who never listened, about the public humiliation of having his family drama turned into internet entertainment. Every time his phone buzzed with another notification, he threw it aside, muttering, "They don't know what it's like. They don't know the truth." His pride, once his strongest armor, now felt like a burden crushing him under its weight. What truly set the stage for an even bigger explosion was King's phone call from jail. Sources say that when he finally got through to his parents, he didn't apologize or show remorse. Instead, he doubled down, telling T, "I've been trying to run my life since I was born. Now I finally get to live how I want, even if it's behind bars. I ain't you, and I don't want to be you." Those words hit harder than any sentence the judge could have given. T.I. reportedly slammed the phone down, shouting, "Boy, you lost your damn mind." Tiny, in tears, begged him to calm down, whispering, "He's scared. He just don't want to show it." But even she wasn't sure she believed that, as word of that phone call leaked out. The internet erupted again. Fans debated whether King was truly rebellious or simply putting on a front to protect his image. Hashtags began trending, some fans tweeting "Free King," while others mocked him with "spoiled kid" energy. The divide between support and criticism only grew sharper, turning the young man's fate into a global spectacle. Every outlet, from gossip blogs to mainstream news, was dissecting the family's every move. Then came a shocking revelation that took the drama to another level. A supposed insider close to the case claimed that King had been under investigation for months. And his arrest wasn't just about one reckless night. Allegedly, authorities had been tracking his movements, his friends, and even his online posts, waiting for the right moment to step in. Fans speculated wildly, was he being targeted because of his famous father? Or had he really gone deeper into trouble than anyone realized? The idea that this wasn't a one-time mistake, but part of a bigger picture sent shockwaves through the fanbase. T.I., already boiling with frustration, took this revelation as a personal attack. In a heated conversation caught on a neighbor's recording, he raged. "They want to make an example out of him because of me. They can't get to me, so they go after my boy." His voice cracked with anger and guilt, revealing the weight he carried. Tiny, trying to be the voice of reason, responded quietly, "Maybe it ain't about you this time. Maybe it's about him." That one sentence, simple yet piercing, left T.I. silent for the first time in days. But silence didn't last long. Hours later, the family had another explosive argument, this time involving King's siblings. Zonique, his older sister, stepped in during one of T.I.'s rants, telling him, "You always come at him with anger. Dad, you never listen. Maybe if you talk to him different, he wouldn't be like this." Her words hit hard. And though T.I. barked back, "Don't you dare blame me," there was a flash of pain in his eyes. The younger kids, terrified, clung to Tiny, their innocence caught in the middle of a storm. They never asked to be part of Fans. Following the saga online were eating up every update. Leaked clips of family arguments, grainy footage from neighbors, and emotional live streams painted a picture more dramatic than any scripted reality show. People were glued to their phones, debating whether the Harris family was crumbling beyond repair or whether this was just another trial they'd overcome. But behind the screens, the pain was very real, and the fractures in the family grew deeper by the day. Then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, another bombshell dropped. A close friend of King's spoke out anonymously, claiming that King had been betrayed by someone in his inner circle. According to the friend, King trusted the wrong people. Somebody close to him set him up, gave him the wrong stuff, and tipped off the cops. He thought they were his boys, but they were snakes. The revelation sent shockwaves online. Betrayal, setups, and hidden agendas. Fans went wild, demanding answers and speculating about who the traitor could be. T.I., upon hearing this, reportedly went into a rage again. He allegedly called out names, confronted old friends, and even threatened to cut ties with anyone who couldn't prove their loyalty. Tiny begged him not to spiral, telling him, "Fighting everybody won't bring King back home." But T.I. was consumed with suspicion, convinced that enemies were lurking in every corner, waiting to tear his family apart, while the family battled behind closed doors. King's behavior behind bars became another headline. Inmates who encountered him claimed that he walked around with his chin high, acting untouchable, bragging about who his father was and how he'd be out sooner than anyone thought. But others whispered that once the cameras were gone and the bravado faded, King sat alone, staring at the floor, his shoulders slumped like a boy who realized he was no longer invincible. The duality of his public arrogance and private despair only added more fuel to the drama. Fans, always hungry for drama, began creating their own theories. Some insisted King was intentionally taking the fall for someone else, protecting a friend. Others believed he was spiraling out of control, desperate to escape his father's shadow by any means necessary. And then there were those who claimed the entire thing was exaggerated, that the Harris family was caught in a web spun by law enforcement and the media. No one really knew the truth, but everyone had an opinion. Tiny, caught in the middle, was the only one trying to keep some sense of unity. In a private conversation overheard by a family friend, she tearfully said, "I just want my son back. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about the money. I don't even care about the headlines. I just want my baby safe." Her words painted a heartbreaking contrast to T.I.'s fiery anger, showing how the parents' different coping mechanisms were pulling them further apart. But the story didn't stop there. Late at night, a shocking video surfaced online footage of King in a holding cell, pacing and talking to someone off camera. In the clip, he said, "My daddy think he run everything. He don't run me. I'm my own man. I'll do my time, and when I come out, I show everybody who I really am." The video spread like wildfire, fans replaying it over and over, dissecting every word. Was it defiance? Was it pain disguised as pride? No one could agree, but everyone was talking by the end of the second week. The Harris family was in total disarray. T.I. grew more isolated, pushing away even his closest allies. Tiny tried desperately to hold things together, but her strength was waning. King, locked up and still making headlines, seemed both untouchable and deeply vulnerable all at once. And the fans. They were glued to every twist and turn, hungry for the next revelation, the next explosion. The next piece of the puzzle, as days turned into weeks, the drama surrounding King Harris only intensified. What began as a shocking courtroom moment had spiraled into a full-blown saga that seemed to grip the entire world. Headlines screamed from every direction. Gossip blogs posted hourly updates. And fans flooded comment sections with theories, accusations, and prayers. It felt less like a legal case and more like a soap opera unfolding in real time, with each family member playing a role they never asked for. Behind closed doors, the Harris home was a pressure cooker. T.I. had become consumed by paranoia, convinced that someone from within King's own circle had orchestrated his downfall. He called meeting after meeting with old friends, former associates, and even distant family members, grilling them for information. "Who sold out my boy?" he demanded, his voice sharp, his eyes narrowed. The silence that usually followed only deepened his rage. Tiny, exhausted from the constant confrontations, pleaded with him to stop. Tip: "You're tearing this family apart, chasing ghosts. You can't fight shadows," she whispered. But her words bounced off him like rubber bullets. The children felt the weight of it too. Zanique tried to act as a mediator, often standing between her parents during heated arguments. "Y'all don't hear each other," she told them during one particularly intense night. "Dad, you keep yelling, and Mom, you keep crying, but nobody's listening. And while y'all fighting, King's the one locked up." Her voice cracked at the end, a reminder that even the strongest among them was breaking under the strain, outside their walls. Fans continued to speculate wildly. Some pointed to rival families in Atlanta's music scene, hinting at old grudges finally catching up to the Harrises. Others insisted that King's own reckless behavior had dug this grave, and no amount of conspiracy theories could change that. Hashtag shifted by the day, hashtag pray for King, hashtag justice for King, hashtag Harris family drama, each one trending. Each one fueling the fire. Each one fueling the fire. But then a new twist emerged that shook the narrative to its core. Leaked documents suggested that King's charges might not have been as straightforward as the media first portrayed. According to the leak, there were inconsistencies in the police reports, timelines that didn't quite match, and even conflicting statements from witnesses. Suddenly, fans began to wonder if King had been set up by law enforcement itself. "They want to make an example out of him," one fan tweeted, "because of who his daddy is." Another wrote, "This looks shady," like they wanted a headline. Not justice.t.I seized on this revelation instantly. In a fiery Instagram live, he looked straight into the camera and declared, "My boy ain't no saint, but he ain't no criminal mastermind either. They painting him like he's the worst thing walking, and it's a lie. They try to use my family name for clout. I won't stand for it." His words ignited the internet, sparking debates across social media platforms. Some praised him for standing by his son, while others accused him of deflecting blame and refusing to hold King accountable. Tiny, however, took a different approach. In a rare interview, she broke down in tears, saying, "All I want is for my baby to be safe. I don't care about the stories, the rumors, the headlines. I just want my son to come home in one piece." Her vulnerability struck a chord with fans, many of whom flooded her comments with messages of support. "Stay strong, Tiny," one fan wrote. "You're the heart of that family." Meanwhile, inside the prison walls, King's behavior continued to make headlines. Reports emerged of him clashing with other inmates, his cocky attitude rubbing people the wrong way. Some said he was walking around like a celebrity, bragging about who his father was. Others whispered that he was starting to crumble. The weight of his situation finally sinking in when the cameras weren't around. One inmate reportedly overheard him muttering late at night, "Maybe I ain't built for this." Those words, raw and unguarded, painted a stark contrast to the bravado he showed in public, as if the family hadn't endured enough. Rumors of betrayal resurfaced again, this time closer to home. Whispers began that someone within the extended family had leaked private conversations, feeding gossip blogs and fueling the fire. T.I. was livid. "Somebody in this family is selling us out," he shouted during yet another heated argument, his voice echoing through the house. Tiny tried to calm him, insisting, "We don't need more enemies. Tip, we need unity." But the seed of doubt had already been planted, and suspicion poisoned every interaction. Zon Nique, weary of the constant fighting, finally snapped one evening. "Y'all think this is about you?" she cried. "But it's about King. He's in there alone, and all we doing out here is tearing each other apart. What good is that gonna do?" Her words silenced the room, but only for a moment. The silence was heavy, filled with truths nobody wanted to face. Then, in a shocking move, King managed to call into a popular podcast from prison. The host, clearly stunned to have him on the line, asked what he wanted to say to his fans. King's response was defiant. "I don't regret nothing," he said. "This is my life. My daddy had his way of living. I got mine. I ain't no little boy no more. I'm a man. And if doing time is the price for that, then so be it." The clip went viral instantly, sparking heated debates. Some fans admired his boldness, while others called it arrogance disguised as maturity. The call only deepened the divide between him and T.I. Sources close to the family revealed that when T.I. heard the podcast, he erupted in anger, throwing a glass across the room and shouting, "He think this is a game. He think prison is a damn stage for him to perform on." Tiny, torn between her husband's fury and her son's pride, broke down again, sobbing into her hands. "I don't know how to fix this," she whispered to herself. Words that captured the despair of a mother watching her family unravel. Meanwhile, fans and the media kept stoking the flames. Some began comparing King's case to other celebrity children who had faced legal troubles, framing it as part of a larger pattern. Others insisted that the Harrises were unique, that their drama was unmatched in its intensity and spectacle. Gossip outlets milked every rumor, every leaked clip, every emotional outburst, ensuring that the story never left the headlines. As the weeks dragged on, one thing became clear. The Harris family was no longer just fighting the legal system, they were fighting each other. The once tight-knit image of unity they had presented to the world was shattered, replaced by public meltdowns, private betrayals, and a son who seemed determined to carve his own path, no matter the cost. And just when everyone thought they had seen it all, whispers of an even bigger twist began to surface. Rumors that King had struck a secret deal behind the scenes, a deal that could either save him or destroy what was left of his family's fragile unity. The whispers about a secret deal spread like wildfire, igniting speculation that King might be working behind the scenes with prosecutors. The idea alone was enough to send fans spiraling. Could it be true? Had King agreed to cooperate in some way to cut down his sentence? Or was it just another rumor meant to tear the Harris family apart? Nobody knew for sure, but the uncertainty hung in the air like smoke after a fire. Inside the Harris household, the rumor hit like a bomb. T.I. exploded when he heard the news, pacing the living room, fists clenched. "If my son is talking to them behind my back, I swear." He stopped himself, his voice shaking with both anger and heartbreak. Tiny, who had grown weary of the constant storms, tried to soothe him. "We don't even know if it's true. Tip, don't kill yourself over whispers." But T.I. wasn't convinced. "Whispers come from somewhere," he muttered darkly. "Dasonique, once again trying to play peacemaker. Told her father, maybe if you trusted him more, he wouldn't feel like he gotta go behind your back." Her words cut deep, and T.I. fell silent for a moment, staring off as though realizing just how wide the gap between him and King had become. Meanwhile, inside the prison walls, King seemed unfazed by the chaos he was causing outside. Reports surfaced that he had been overheard bragging to other inmates, saying, "I got options. I ain't staying in here 5 years. I got moves y'all don't even know about." Those comments fueled the theory that he was indeed negotiating some kind of deal, but others said it was just King's way of keeping up his image. Refusing to show weakness even in the darkest of places, fans latched onto every detail, creating their own storylines. Some believed King had cut a deal to provide information about others, while others insisted he was simply bluffing. Hashtags like #KingDeal and #Betrayal began trending, painting King as either a mastermind or a sellout. Then came a shocking twist. An anonymous source leaked a recording, allegedly of King talking to someone about his options. In the grainy audio, a voice that sounded like King said, "My daddy don't run me no more. I got my own plan, and when I come out, I'm coming out bigger than before." The recording didn't confirm a deal, but it added fuel to the fire. Fans dissected every word, every pause, every tone, searching for hidden meaning. When T.I. heard the recording, his reaction was volcanic. He slammed his phone on the table and roared, "He thinks this is about fame. He thinks this is a damn game." His voice carried through the house, rattling the walls. Tiny tried to hold him back, crying, "Tip, he's still your son. Don't let this destroy you." But the look on T.I.'s face was one of betrayal deeper than words. The drama escalated further when rumors spread that King had refused a visit from his father. Sources claimed that when T.I. showed up at the prison, ready to face his son, King sent word through the guards that he didn't want to see him. "Tell him I'm busy," he reportedly said. That single sentence hit T.I. harder than any courtroom verdict. He walked out of the prison in silence, head down, cameras flashing, fans shouting questions. The image of the usually proud and defiant rapper looking broken made headlines worldwide. Tiny, however, was allowed in to see King, and their meeting was nothing short of heartbreaking. Witnesses described her holding his hand through the glass, tears streaming down her face as she begged him to come back to his family. "We love you, baby. We're waiting for you," she said softly. King reportedly nodded but gave no promises, his face a mask of pride mixed with pain. The contrast between King's rejection of his father and his quiet moment with his mother only deepened the divide. Fans began debating who truly had King's heart. Was it the stern father who demanded respect, or the gentle mother who offered unconditional love? The family drama became a public morality play. Each action analyzed, each word dissected, and then another twist rocked the narrative. Leaked footage from inside the prison showed King involved in a heated altercation with another inmate. Though the clip was only a few seconds long, it captured King shoving the other man, shouting, "You don't know who I am." Guards rushed in to separate them, but the damage was done. The clip went viral instantly, fans arguing whether it proved King was dangerous or simply a young man struggling to survive behind bars. T.I., upon seeing the footage, broke down for the first time. Instead of anger, there were tears. He sat in silence, his face in his hands, whispering, "That's my baby. That's still my baby." Tiny, sitting beside him, placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Then fight for him, Tip." Not with anger, but with love. It was the first time in weeks that they seemed to be on the same side, united in TH. United in TH. Our pain. Outside the home, the internet was relentless. Memes mocked King's arrogance, while fan pages rallied behind him with messages of hope. Celebrities even began weighing in, some offering support, others shaking their heads. One well-known rapper tweeted, "That boy think he tough, but prison ain't no joke. He'd better humble himself." Another posted, "Free King. We all made mistakes young. Let that boy grow." As the chaos reached a fever pitch, rumors of the supposed deal resurfaced again, this time suggesting that King's sentence might actually be reduced in exchange for good behavior and other conditions. No official confirmation was given, but the possibility reignited debates. Would King walk out sooner than expected? And if he did, what kind of man would he be? Inside the Harris household, a fragile peace began to form. T.I., finally exhausted from the constant rage, admitted in a rare, quiet moment, "Maybe I was too hard on him. Maybe I pushed him too much." Tiny, tears in her eyes, replied, "We both did what we thought was best. But now we gotta be here for him, not fight him." For the first time, they held hands. Not as celebrities or parents under scrutiny, but simply as two people desperate to save their son. But even as the family began to find some footing, the future remained uncertain. King's fate hung in the balance, his choices threatening to define not just his life, but the legacy of the Harris name. The world was watching, waiting for the next twist, the next headline, the next piece of this never-ending drama. And as fans debated whether King would rise stronger or fall deeper, one thing was undeniable: the Harris family would never be the same again. As the dust begins to settle, the Harris family finds themselves standing at a crossroads. King sits behind bars, torn between arrogance and vulnerability, his every move watched by fans and critics alike. T.I., a father once feared for his strength and respected for his wisdom, now wrestles with the painful truth that sometimes love can't shield a child from the weight of their own choices. Tiny, the heart of the family, holds everyone together with fragile hands. But even she knows that their unity has been tested in ways they never imagined. The questions linger in the air like storm clouds waiting to burst. Will King serve all 5 years? Or will whispers of a deal prove true and bring him home sooner? Will the bond between father and son be repaired? Or has the gap grown too wide to ever close? And when King does finally walk free, will he return humbled and ready to rebuild? Or will his defiance only grow stronger, shaping him into someone unrecognizable to the family that raised him? Fans remain divided, some praying for redemption, others convinced this story is just beginning its darkest chapter. But one thing is certain, this isn't just the downfall of a son. It's the unraveling of a dynasty, a tale of love, pride, betrayal, and survival that will be remembered long after the headlines fade. And now, it's your turn. What do you think was King's setup? Or did his reckless choices finally catch up to him? Is T.I. to blame for pushing too hard? Or is King responsible for carving his own path no matter the cost? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we want to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update on this unfolding drama. The story of King Harris is far from over. And trust me, you're going to want to see what happens next.